This is our paranormal podcast because this is our paranormal community, and we want to support you here on RU Media Network. We are proud to be sponsored by the Haunted Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. Here are your hosts, Brian Mersall and Sean Gilmore.
Oh, I forgot to. Today's just one of those days, man. Oh man, where you at, Brian? Where you at that one?
Look at that truck.
Everybody, welcome to our paranormal podcast. I'm Sean. I'm the co-host. And Brian, how are you doing, brother?
Good. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's been a crazy week. We have an awesome guest this week, though. Good old friend of mine and Brian's. It's Mike Ricksecker, the one and only. How's it going, Mike?
It's going pretty well. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, minus the technical difficulties that I'm having right now. We're doing pretty good. Right now, actually, I think Spreaker's only hearing me. So let's see what happens if I do that. Nope. Okay, then.
It's technology for you.
Right. I don't know.
Every once in a while, Sean gets in these wonderful predicaments where he falls in love with technology over and over and over again.
Yep. All because he upgraded his microphone.
Yeah. Hey,
hopefully, heck yeah.
Hey, Sean, while you're, while you're working on that, can you? Oh, yeah. Let's see it.
Look at that.
That's man. Nice. That's a nice mic.
That's huge, man.
Mm-hmm. No, what kind is that again?
This is it's made by Blue. It's called a Yeti.
Oh, Blue Yeti.
Oh yeah.
Every time you look up good like microphones, they always say like the Yetis or the Blue Yetis are good. What about you, Mike? What do you got?
Well, I mean, I'm just using the earbuds here, but for my broadcast, I use a Shure microphone SM58. So I actually have two. Like last night, we had a in-studio guest, basically my girlfriend Nicole, but she's a psychic medium, so we had her on, and so we used the setup with the two mics.
That's perfect.
So, and I have a nice little Behringer soundboard down here that I pipe the two through into my computer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a nice little setup.
Yeah, and we've got Holly saying, "Hey." Good friend Ken, hello gentlemen. Yeah, it's gonna be a real nice show. So as Sean's getting everything ready, I mean, Mike,
I can't believe this. This is nonsense. We might just have to go without Spreaker. Mike, what is it like? Every show, something. You guys
something weird always happens. Yeah,
I know. It's weird.
But I can't help you with Spreaker because I've never simulcast out the Spreaker. I've done Periscope, which is going away, and Twitch. So we were simulcasting out to 3 at one point, but now it's just straight YouTube.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we are doing Twitch, YouTube, and the Facebook. I might do away with Twitch because I haven't done much with it, and it gets nothing. It's
yeah, you get like a couple people on there to watch. It's not really the platform for it. It's more for gamers, and they have a podcasting category, but nobody really uses it.
Yeah,
I think we might do away with that. And so I do apologize to everyone out in Spreaker world. This is like legit, like all of our replays. So I don't know. I go to click on my microphone and it just disables everything. And then I go to cable output where I'm supposed to make it so it captures the whole show and all the sound. It's just, I don't get it. All I did was plug in a USB port for this mic and everything's all jacked up. So what are you gonna do? I think we might just do without that today. And then I will upload the replay onto Spreaker tomorrow. So let me just do this.
So Sean's wrapping that up. Mike, you're so well known in the paranormal community, but if for some reason someone hasn't heard of you, I mean, how do you introduce yourself? I mean, what kind of accomplishments? I mean, like, where do you begin?
Well, I was born right down the road, Fairview Hospital in Ohio. I was just a little guy, and then I grew up. No. But I mean, seriously, I was actually born right down the road, so I've come full circle.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, primarily, I'm an author. I have 11 books to my credit. The latest is A Walk in the Shadows, Complete Guide to Shadow People. A paranormal investigator, and been involved some way, shape, or form within the paranormal community for about 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah. I've been on several of the different shows. The most recent was the Alaska Triangle. I was on a few episodes of that. Rumor has it there's going to be a season 2. I can neither confirm nor deny that, but confirm.
Nice.
And what else do I have going on? I go to when we had conferences back in back in 2019. I did a lot of the conferences. I spoke on these different subjects like shadow people, and I did a lot of talks about history and the paranormal and things like that.
So, I mean, this is a fantastic 30-year paranormal career, 11 books, so much research, and of course, so many helping hands.
Shawn has it, yeah.
Shawn has with just doing speaking events or just helping out groups. But I mean, where did it all start? I not only your
He's
first
got a few
experience, yeah, not only your first experience, but I mean, when did you decide like this is what you're super passionate about?
And he has ghosty. All right, do you have the coffee, Shawn?
I don't have the coffee yet. I need to.
Coffee.
I need to get the coffee.
There you go. There's the coffee. 100 Road Roast. I hope you have ghosts.
Yes.
So yeah, it started for me. I mean, I can always say, my first paranormal experience when I was 8 years old, which was with a shadow person. But when I actually knew that this is the path that I was going to take, that I was like, wow, I'm definitely going to be involved with this, was when I was a little bit older, as a young teenager. And it was my first little paranormal investigation, although I had no idea at the time that's what it was and that's what you called it and all that. I mean, we're talking like around 1989, 1990, right around there. Yeah. And my friend David and I were at our friend Lori's house, downtown Worcester, Ohio, old historic house. And we're just kind of shooting the breeze, talking teenage drama, that sort of stuff, because how young we were. And all of a sudden, Lori says, well, I think my house is haunted. And it's like, whoa, okay, this is cool. The conversation just got really interesting. And I'd already, had quite a bit of an interest. I'd already had a couple of experiences with shadow people. I was reading Hans Holzer at that time and what have you. And so she tells us about how the house has a old family cemetery in the backyard and different things concerning the house and the history. And then she says, she tells us about how every time she tacked something up on this one wall in her bedroom, it would always fall down, whether it was like an hour, a day, a week, whatever, it would fall down off the wall. She couldn't, tack up any of her posters or anything like that. So we're going to investigate. We're going to check out the haunted wall. So we go upstairs to her bedroom and we're checking it out. We're looking at this wall. We're looking at the things she's trying to hang up on there and that sort of stuff. And all of a sudden, my friend David, I didn't realize at the time that he was an extremely sensitive guy. He took his hand and put it flat to the wall like that. And all of a sudden, he turned this bright, bright red and started sweating profusely. I'm looking at David like, oh my gosh, what's going on with my friend? Because I'd never seen anything like this before. Yeah. And so he started going from wall to wall to wall in the house to try to see if there were any more hot spots. And that was the moment that I knew that I was absolutely fascinated by this and I was going to be involved with this in some way, shape, or form for the rest of my life. I just didn't know how big it was really going to blow up.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, was there any, just for everyone on the edge of their seat here? I mean, is there any tiny conclusion you can give us? I mean, is there something?
I mean, as far as that house, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, it was so long ago, we didn't really follow up on it because, again, we didn't really know from investigating and all that. And it was probably maybe 15 or 20 minutes later that I had to get home. My mother was getting upset because of the time, and she didn't really know where I was.
19 years old, haunted walls, you know.
Yeah,
That's
I was
curfew
closer to like 15, but yeah.
Oh wow,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
nice. So I mean, you definitely got a young start though. Even with that, within the paranormal community, you were on a very old paranormal TV show.
Yeah, The
Right?
Haunted that ran on Animal Planet like 10
Yeah.
years ago. We were on, what was it, the season premiere of like season 2 or season 3. So it was, yeah, the show itself was even a little bit older than that. And yeah, that was an interesting experience. We filmed that in 2010. It didn't air until 2011. And all the investigations that we had done for that show were like months and months ahead of time, which of course the television show only shows, you know, like we investigated there one time and all of a sudden we deem, oh, it's evil, we got to call in Carl Johnson and, you know, get rid of the demon sort of thing. It's like, no, we investigated there many times. We were in constant contact with the family. We did all kinds of follow-ups. We were in the library, you know, we went down to the police station. We were interviewing like retired police officers and, you know, all kinds of stuff like that, which took several months until, you know, through our investigations. And this is what I try to tell people, you know, you don't just go to a house and say, oh, there's a demon, you know, call in the demonologist. You know, because I'll get people that email me and they'll say, I have a demon. And it's like, why do you think you have a demon? Well, a candle flew off my mantle. Well, that doesn't mean it's a demon. You know, it takes a while. And like with this particular house, you know, we had to rule out a lot of things because there were a couple of suicides in the house. There was another attempted suicide. So it had a dark history. And so we were trying to rule out some of those people, like the original homeowner's father who took his life in the room where the girl slept, where most of the activity was happening. So, you know, we had through our investigation to try to rule him out. And while we're investigating, we're also taking note of what's going on with her, where she was certainly oppressed. The family itself was pretty oppressed by this thing that was there, but mostly Taliesin, the adult daughter. And then as we were continuing on in discovering more about the history of the house and learning more about this entity that was there, she started to be, you know, get borderline possessed. And so that's when we called out Carl. You know, it was like a whole process to actually get there. And then what we ended up filming for the show was the cleansing of that house, which got really wild. And even with that, they couldn't include it all.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, that was like a good 10 years ago now.
Those types of cases are always those are the hardest. And it's like, how do you tell the difference between psychosis and someone being possessed just by being a paranormal investigator and doing our day jobs? You know, that's a hard call for us.
Yeah, it really is. And it takes, you know, not just the paranormal team coming in and determining that. So, you know, as we worked with the family, you know, we called others, and like, you know, when we called Carl, you know, he's been a demonologist for like 50 years now, so he's dealt with this quite a bit. And so, you know, it was several interviews with Carl as well. You know, he was calling them, he was in touch with the family before he actually even flew out there. So there was a lot going on behind the scenes, and you know, you want to be careful with making that type of a call. Is it something, you know, like a psychosis that's going on, and within the family, it can even become a group psychosis that they're feeding off of each other. But what was interesting about this particular family was that they had been experiencing things within the household for 20 years, but nobody was talking about it. So there wasn't a way for it to be group psychosis until one day, just before they called us. One of them, and I think it was Taliesin, had mentioned something at the dinner table. Hey, I'm experiencing this in my bedroom. Has anybody else seen or experienced something like this? And all of a sudden, all these stories started pouring in from the family. The other family members like, yeah, I saw this, and this happened to me like, you know, 15 years ago, and this happened to me 3 years ago, and all this different stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Ken Allen, a good friend of ours, he says he's had to deal with them hundreds of times. He's a demonologist and voodoo priest. He's an awesome guy. Valerie Wright, she has a question. What advice would you give someone who is starting out a paranormal field as a paranormal investigator?
Yeah, learn as much as you can. I always recommend for people who are just getting started to find a reputable team in your area and learn from them. Don't just go out there on your own with an audio recorder and a camera and get yourself lost in some abandoned building, and because that can be very dangerous for one physically. But when you don't have experience, with dealing with these types of entities, you can get yourself into a lot of spiritual trouble as well. So, go with a seasoned group that's been doing this a long time and learn the ropes. And I think that's one of the areas that I think television has been good in that it's helped people to realize that they're not alone. Other people are experiencing these things, but unfortunately, because they have to, shorten it into, such a limited amount of time on the television, they make it seem like you can just go out there with a couple of devices and you're good to go. And it's really not the case. You really should go with people that have been doing this for a while and gradually work yourself up and learn.
Definitely. I think that's a really good advice. Another tidbit I'd like to give. There's 2 really good YouTube channels you should check out. First, of course, Haunted Road Media. And also Brian's Your Paranormal channels. Those they're great channels if you're starting out. Mike, man, the history that you give, you touch just about everything. If you have the time to go through everything, there's a lot of content on Mike's channel. If you go to actually, we don't have the banner going. What's going on today?
Yeah,
guys?
I have over 700 videos on the Haunted
Yeah.
Media YouTube channel, and then on the Edge of the Rabbit Hole channel, that's where we moved all of our podcasts and live stream shows over the past year or so. You have almost 100 more videos over there as well right now. So yeah, there's a lot to go through, and we just started our 2nd season of Edge of the Rabbit Hole last night. We had psychic medium Nicole Guillaume from Guiding Echoes on. Of course, she's my girlfriend, but it was a really insightful conversation about enhancing your psychic abilities and your intuition and all of that. And we had a lot of fun at the same time. So it was a really great way to kick off the new year on the Edge of the Rabbit Hole channel.
Yeah, you guys went on a little hiatus there for the holidays.
Yeah, we shut it down. Our last show was December 15th, and then our first show back was January 12th. But see, I've just noticed over the years that I've been doing this that over the holidays, you'll get a handful of people that'll watch, but it's such few numbers that you're putting all this work into setting everything up. It's like, what, just take a break. And even trying to start back that first week of January, people are still kind of like hungover from the holidays. So it's like, I'll just give people time. And it gives us a time to, kind of recollect ourselves as well. So
right. Definitely.
It's a nice little break.
Right. John Ward says, miss you, Mike. It's been a long time.
Hey, good to see you, John.
Josh Bender says, Mike's episodes on Helltown. Actually, that's really funny that comes up. Guys, if you want to know the truth about Helltown, go to Mike's channel and look up his Helltown. Okay. So, yes, I have a TikTok. I know you're on TikTok too, Mike. And this guy is telling a story about Helltown. It was a story about underground bunker, and something got loose, and the army came and missile bombed. No, none of that.
No,
I thought I was the
and
only
I'm
one.
like, this story, and this guy did 3 parts. I'm like, God, dude, this is not true. I'm like, I live there. It's not true. I'm like, and then he's like, oh no, it's true. I'm like,
no, it's that's all that stuff. Urban legend. It's and then it was Destination America that picked up or that put out that, I call it a mockumentary because they did it like a real documentary, but it wasn't true at all. Yeah. And that's really hurt things. The Travel Channel ended up picking it up, and they've syndicated it, and they run it at least once a year. And it's great for my channel because people watch that thing, then they go to my YouTube channel and watch my stuff, and hopefully they end up getting the correct story. But that really did a disservice to what happened there. And they tried to make reference to and almost create footage that was similar to the old PBS special from the early 80s called For the Good of All, that got deep into what really happened there, where they repossessed those homes and how they went to Congress and all of that stuff, the real story behind those families that were basically ousted out of their homes. And so that's the real tragedy of that location, is what happened to those people. But as far as like underground bunkers, no. I recently talked to, it was almost a year ago, I talked to an older gentleman who actually lived there, and I was hoping to connect with him this year because he said, hey, the next time you're in the area, give me a call and I'll walk you through the area, because he actually lived at Stanton House or Stanford House there on Stanford Road. The house is used as the hostel right now. He actually lived there for a while he was a kid.
He lived in that house.
He lived in that house, yeah.
Wow.
So he knows all that area. He knows all the stories, like the animal attacks and stuff like that were supposed to have happened. Well, he said what really happened was there was down by the towpath, there was a woman, a young woman who was basically, for lack of a better term, she was kidnapped or abducted or whatever. She was being physically attacked down there by a couple of guys who were trying to assault her, and she was totally drugged up. But she was able to get away from them, ran over into the neighborhood there, and was basically like going door to door. And what ended up happening was at the one house that, it was basically the last house on that road. I actually have that house in some of my footage. She had gone to that door, pretty much like ripped the door off its hinges, of the screen door, banging on the door for the old woman that was there. And because she had run through these yards, his dog went chasing after her. And so she ended up saying it was like a bear or whatever, but it was really, she was on drugs. She had just been assaulted and there was a dog chasing her because she was running through the yard. So, but that gets, propagated now as like some of these, crazy animal stories that the, people talk about the toxic waste spill. And it wasn't really that there was a toxic waste spill that was, covered up by the government or whatever. There was, however, so it is based on, there's always like a little grain of truth, right? It is actually based on a dump that was there, but it was a junkyard. It was mostly like old cars and stuff like that. But the guy was doing some like underhanded deals with some, local, factories and what have you to, get rid of some of their waste. And so he was burying it on that yard. And so this older gentleman that I talked to when he was younger, he and his girlfriend, went kind of walking back through there into his yard to check out what he was doing, because it was like late at night. He's got some lights on as they're hauling in these barrels to bury back there. And he said that the soles of his sneakers were starting to melt, so they got out of there. So there is some truth to that. But what people saw when the government came into the area, they knew they needed to clean that up and get that out of there. So they fenced it off, and they were putting like all these, hazard do not enter signs up. So it wasn't some, these trucks that spilled over and, the government was covering up. They were actually cleaning up this guy's junkyard.
Yeah. Radioactive waste.
Right.
The only waste I know of around there is where the old Jake paper mill was.
Yeah, they still have the Fournier machine, which that's interesting to me because my family actually owned that back in the day. So I have on my grandfather's side, the Grant clan married in with the Jake clan, so that's actually a family landmark. And then all those little yellow houses there in what was known as Jayton, those were actually the company houses for the paper mill.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So
the buildings that the Park Service uses.
I was going to say, are you talking about the houses that they now use for like the Rangers or whomever may come and visit? Those
really yellow Park Service buildings. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole area is really cool. There's a lot of neat history, and a lot of it has been knocked down. I mean, there's areas of old towns that are completely gone, and the only way that they're remembered is honestly by the name of they named the area of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, with some of those. And it's just, it's really neat though, because a lot of those areas do have paranormal activity. I love going there on a nice summer night and walking through. So,
oh yeah, it definitely. I mean, before the houses were even knocked down, there are reports of hauntings within those houses, and so it becomes, what happens to the spirits once the houses are knocked down? Are they, roaming the streets? Are they just still hanging out where the house was, thinking that, in their realm, in their mind, however they experience time, because they experience time differently than we do, is the house still there to them and they're still within it? Or do they move on to some other area in the town? There's a lot of different options as to what can happen to them. But like when I walk through there, to me, it's sad. I don't necessarily get, this idea of, it's extremely haunted, or, there's, all these, crazy things going on, like the ridiculous, serial killer and the school bus thing. So I don't get any of that. It's just a very sad feeling to me when I walk through there. To me, it's like very quiet, and it's like, wow, there are people that live their lives here, and just that energy from how they got booted out is just, it really kind of weighs down the area to me.
I could definitely see that, and there's other history that goes through there too, with the old Native American history. I was actually told by a local historian that the cemetery that's there was a Native American burial ground that they decided to put a Christian cemetery on top of it. And as they would need to bury people, if they came across any Native American remains, they would just toss them out and toss them aside. And that's just all too common around this area.
Yeah, unfortunately, things like that happen. I don't know if with that particular cemetery, but it wouldn't surprise me, because that did happen around the country as as settlers came in, and they they viewed the Native Americans as heathens, and so anything pre-Columbian was tossed aside or plowed under for farmland. That happened a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And Ken Allen, he's commenting on your comments about time and how spirit experiences time differently than us. And he's saying that time is a measurement that is created by man, essentially.
Yeah, it's just a human concept by man to describe our reality, keep track of the seasons and when we should plant crops and things like that. So it doesn't really exist, but we've used it as a tool to kind of help us in our day-to-day life. Yeah,
right. It's a way of measuring the, for lack of a better word, time that goes by. Yeah. But you actually, again, to reference back to your YouTube channel and even your website, you have links and articles that relate to that. You talk about the different triangles, and it's really neat how I'm noticing in the paranormal community how the idea of time and the relativity of time is actually an essential part of the paranormal, and how time can be perceived and how time goes by and everything.
Well, yeah. So I have something that I call stack time theory that I started putting together like a good 20 years ago, and then as I continued research, I started discovering, Einstein had his space-time continuum, which is quite similar. But basically, the idea that you take a particular location, and every moment that has ever happened, is happening, and will happen, are all happening concurrently at the same time. So instead of viewing things as like a river of time, look at it as like a deck of cards or whatever, stacked up, and every card has a moment in time at that location, using time for lack of a better term. Right. And then each of those is resonating at a different vibration level, and sometimes what ends up happening is a couple of those moments will resonate at the same frequency, and that's where we start to have like some of these different time slips and what have you, where you might see somebody standing there in a Victorian era dress, and she turns and looks at you and notices you and looks at you as if you are the ghost. And so you're noticing a moment in the past. She's actually noticing a moment in the future. So you've had what we would call like a time slip right there.
And that's definitely. I think it's definitely a possibility. I mean, what if? Just like it's all Like my home is 100 years old, and my office is in the basement of this 100-year-old home. I mean, who knows? Like, but the coal chute was legitimately right here next to me. I mean, this looks completely different. But if you think about it, like this all could be existing at the same like time. Just
somebody could be dumping coal on you right now.
They could be. Definitely. And speaking of time, you get to go back in time, and there's going to be people that are going to get to go back in time with you in Ireland.
Yes. Thank you for showing that. Yeah. Yeah, we have a fantastic tour coming up in July 1st through the 9th in Ireland. It's going to be a fantastic trip. We still have a few openings left, so you want to jump on that. But yeah, we're going to be, right off the bat, we're hitting Blarney Castle. We'll be investigating Leap Castle, which, paranormal investigators are really keen to want to go there. We also, what's really cool is there's a place there called Spike Island. And basically, this is the Alcatraz of Ireland. And we have that a complete night to ourselves, the entire island and complex to investigate. Whoa. So, there's another castle we're also going to be investigating as well. But, it's going to be a fantastic week and a half there in Ireland. So, guys, jump on it because there's only a handful of spots left.
Huge bucket list for me. I mean, I wish I could. If it were a different time for me, if I didn't have 3 kids and braces and a new stove and refrigerator coming. Oh man,
yeah, we're also going to be checking out the Jameson Distillery while we're there. So
and Jameson.
Yep.
Oh, what is Ireland without Jameson? Wow.
Absolutely.
So what's the logistics and the passion behind, creating an event like that? Like, how does it start, and then how do you sort of put everything together?
Well, I'm not the organizer for it, which is really good because I wouldn't want to put all that together. That's a lot of work. I've done Paracons before, and that in itself, like a 2-day event, that's a lot of work. So, the ladies that have put this together, May Hernan of Mysterious Adventures Tours and Maria Schmidt from Haunted Journeys. They're the ones that have organized this, and they've put a lot of work and a lot of thought into it. There's a lot of back and forth last spring as far as like the different locations we wanted to go to, and they've talked about when I've had the conversations with them that it is it is a lot of work because they may be trying to we'll throw out all kinds of different sites to want to go to. And normally one location or 2 locations may be very easily accessible. However, the date that we would be going there falls on like some holiday or some other big event that they have going on. And then, they can't do that. It's like, okay, which other place in that area can we visit? So it's a lot of work on their part to put all that together.
Yeah.
Oh, and I actually put the link for the event. hauntedjourneys.com/Mike Ricksecker, Ancient Mysteries of Ireland. I put that in the link.
Thank you.
No problem. So people can find that. And again, I'm going to say a little bit slower because I will be uploading the replay to Spreaker. That is www.hauntedjourneys.com/Mike Ricksecker -Mysteries-of-Ireland. Guys, go check it out. I'm sure if you Google that, you'll probably find that too. But
you could just go to Haunted Journeys and you'll find it in there. Or you could go to my website, MikeRicksecker.com, and click on because I have it on the side banner, or even at hauntedroadmedia.com, I have a side banner, and just click in there and you'll get it. You'll get there.
Yeah. So is this like your first overseas event that you've been a part of, or?
Yeah, actually, it will technically, by the time I get there, it will technically be the second. Before that, this, if all this COVID stuff clears up and everything, which we're talking about vaccinations and all that stuff, happening now. This is going to be a fantastic summer because just before Ireland, I'm going to Egypt. I'm not one of the special guests for that. I'm kind of piggybacking with some of those that are Johnny Enoch, Patricia Bona, Muhammad Ibrahim, Jay Widener, they have their Return of the Kepler Cycle event out there in Egypt, which is basically like 2 weeks touring through there, which is going to be amazing. So that's technically my first one, but then the one that I'm actually the special guest, that's the Ireland one.
So why do you think it took 30 years to get there? I mean, not that it's like a slap on your resume, but I mean, I feel like, when I think of you,
I had to live
I could
life
see
first.
you going 20 different trips to, Paris, the underground tunnels and everything. And
oh yeah, all that's happening. And the catacombs are, a bucket list item of mine for sure. All that's happening now. It's just, the way my life went, right out of high school, I went into the Air Force and, stationed in Alaska for a while, and then Maryland, got married, had kids. So did, all of that stuff. So while I was involved with the paranormal some way, shape, or form, for all of that time, it was limited a lot in those early years because I had a whole other life that I was living, and really it was in the mid 2000s where that started to take off a bit more when I started writing the paranormal books and all of that, and so it is really snowballed from there.
That's amazing. And I have to say, I'm extremely jealous. I mean, not only do you get to go to Ireland and host a freaking amazing event, you get to go to Egypt. And then before all that, you get to go to the Hinsdale House.
That's right. We're doing that in April.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Yeah, and that is because going to be filming there, and I love that you guys are going to be a part of that for season 2 of the docuseries that I'm putting together, The Shadow Dimension. I'm currently in post-production on season 1. I have episode 1 is in the can. That's all done. Working on episode 2 right now, and there's several others out that are to follow. So I'm really looking forward to getting that out the door, and then Hinsdale House, where I've had some fantastic experiences there almost a year and a half ago now, almost more outside than inside. But, part of the Shadow Dimension series, looking for specifically investigating shadow activity, kind of complementing the book, Walk in the Shadows. But, with a lot of the, theories, of course, being involved, the Alaska Triangle and all of that, of these, high energy areas like the triangle areas, like, vortices and, that kick off portals and stuff like that. What I experienced at Hinsdale House was, all of that energy outside. Yeah, the house is fantastic. It's great. People have a lot of experiences there. I did get some mild activity there. People have seen shadows in the house, but my experiences were more outside with the land itself. So I want to do an even deeper investigation on the land back behind the house.
That's really interesting because, when I did a 2-day investigation with Ectovision, I found kind of the same thing as you. And I'm really excited to do a little bit more investigating outside of the house, too. So this is going to be a lot of fun. The Hinsdale House is an awesome, awesome place. This is what it looked like before it was fixed up. And then this is it as it stands today.
Yeah, Dan's done a great job of getting that house restored. Yes.
We're very lucky to have them help. And where's it at? There we go. We have to put that little sticker in the corner. So we're really lucky. And it's all, he does it all through his Patreons. So his everything. I mean, it's all the history that's preserved in that home and on that property. The spirit that is there and that's preserved because of the work that he does there. Who knows? I mean, there's just so much. The people are always moving out into the country, and there's so much. Who knows what can happen to a lot of this land? And you have someone like Dan that's preserving some of that. I think is amazing. And they've put a deck on there to the pond. They put a trail going around the whole pond. That wasn't there when I was there. I'm really excited to see all that. And there's actually going to be steps going up the hill. So I guess they put some steps up there.
Yeah, the steps were put in, I guess, about a year and a half ago. So I got to experience the steps when they were pretty new.
Nice, nice.
And yeah, it was really helpful to get back there. But yeah, it was really, up that hill, and then even kind of around the step area that Megan Talbert and I were experiencing all kinds of interesting activity with, and some people are going to think that we're crazy, but I swear to God, they were fairies. Because when we were up there back in the woods, we were hearing all kinds of things going on in the woods. It's nighttime, so yeah, it could be anything. But we did hear what a lot of other people hear back in there, which are the drums. We heard the beating of the drums. Nice. And then what we saw, we didn't want to venture too far in there because there's another person's property back in there. But we saw this, great big blue light that was back in there. It was kind of moving and shifting. What was interesting about it was that it would get blurry, like it would go out of focus and it would come back into focus. So it was really, really bizarre. And so we noticed this for quite a while back in there, kind of dancing amongst the trees. So, we decided that we were done in the woods for a while, went in, investigated the house for a little while. And then we just decided to take a break. We're going to hang out by the fire for a little while. Mm-hmm. And so as we're hanging out by the fire, we start noticing all these little pinpricks of blue lights coming down out of the woods, along those steps that are there now. And what was interesting is the ones that were actually in the air would twinkle and sparkle, and they were, kind of moving about. And then, this is in September. Okay. So people that are like, well, they're fireflies. It's like, no, it's not firefly season. It's end of September. And they don't have blue fireflies in New York. There are blue fireflies that exist, but that's down in the Carolinas, and it's only during June. So we're September in New York. Yeah. They're not fireflies.
Yeah. Mike, but Amber and I had a similar experience there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't captured on camera, so it wasn't on the documentary. We were, I did the drum. Actually, the drum's right there, and we were trying to get interaction, and we ended up getting we saw these blue lights, really pretty much right on top of the grass blades, and it was
we saw those too. And were they kind of they would get bright and then fade out and get bright again and fade out? Yeah, we were getting that all night. We got it very, very, oh my God. We're we're down in there with our cameras. We're trying all different kinds of modes on the cameras to try to get a glimpse of it. And I got one 2-second clip of one. It's these things just do not want to appear on camera. It's we see them plain as day with our eyes, but to get on camera was just nearly impossible. And it was crazy. So, we'd go right down into the grass. We got a flashlight. Okay, are these some sort of bugs or whatever? So we'd get down there in the grass, take a flashlight. There's nothing there, not a thing. And so then we just back off, and there it is again. It's what in the world are these things? What we ended up doing, because people talk about, leaving a tribute to the fairies. And so I had an apple. I left an apple out there. And when we came back the next morning, the apple was still in the exact same place where I had left it. But there was a chunk out of the side of it. And what was interesting, this wasn't like a deer came along and took a bite out of the apple, and because it would have moved if it was something like that, and it would have been pretty much a clean bite. This was it was burrowed into, and then there were little shavings of the apple that were around the main part of the apple. So it was just really, really interesting. So we should have left a camera or something like that on it to, video what exactly had gotten into the apple. But, the way it looked to us, it was those little blue things could have burrowed into it. So what's Nicole saying? HR investigation, the Hinsdale House was so awesome. Apple was so cool. Yeah. So I have.
I'm bringing an apple.
Nicole.
I'm bringing an apple.
Yeah, bring an apple. Yeah, I'm definitely going to, when we go there in April, definitely going to bring that. But I have a couple of videos, 2 videos on that investigation on the Haunted Road Media YouTube channel. So definitely check it out. You can barely, in the one clip, you very faintly see the little blue light. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so I know that you do the past, before COVID, you would do your Paracon in Illinois. Is that still after COVID calms down? Will you still be going back to Mineral Springs for that event, or?
Probably not this year. Usually we would hold that in June. One thing, I'm not in Illinois anymore. I'm in Ohio. But if we were to do the Haunted Media Paracon, we have a fantastic relationship with the Mineral Springs Hotel, with Dave and Donna Nunnally, who run its Ratings Inn. They handle all the events there. They're wonderful friends. They're so kind, and if you haven't been there yet, if you're going through Alton, Illinois, check that place out. Check out its Ratings Inn. Wonderful location. The hotel is fantastic. You got 5 levels. There's all kinds of different energy throughout the building. You got the abandoned pool and the abandoned upstairs part of the hotel, the sub basement. All kinds of crazy stuff goes on there. But so in June, when we would usually have the Paracon, I'm going to be in Egypt, and then that's followed immediately by the Ireland trip. So June's out. So I have kind of faintly thought, well, there's always September. When we tried to reschedule it for this past year, we actually had rescheduled to September, but then of course we had to cancel that as well. And it was like, well, that would be a good time to do it. But I have other events that I've already scheduled in September that I'm going to be a guest at, so it's just looking like it's not going to happen this year. But I'm not ruling out maybe the very end of the year or 2022. That's pretty wide open right now.
Okay, well, I mean I've always heard good things. I always wanted to make it out. It's so hard when you have a family. It's hard to go and do anything that has to do with the paranormal, anything to do without them. To go more than just a couple hours away, it's so hard. And then I about 2 years ago I went to Arizona to visit family, and it was just me, and that was so hard. It was hard on my family. It's just it's such a production. Like it had to be planned. Like so, it's just not an easy thing to do. But I really want to make it out to your events. You have some of the greatest authors, and some of the you really do,
including yourself.
Well, no, I'm just in one book. Well, 2 books, really. Huh?
Yeah, you're in 2.
I'm in 2. I have a full story that's featured in a book, and then I have that same story that's featured in this book. So I'm in. So my story.
2 books, yeah.
Yeah, my story from when I was younger in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, is in here, and that's a big part of what got me into the paranormal. And then it's mentioned again because it involved a shadow person. So it's really cool, and it's a really big honor to be. I mean, both are a huge honor. When you came to me with this one, I was just like, yeah, dude, because I know
the perfect fit. Yeah,
this is like his life's work right here. This is like the. Like, it was just such an honor to be a part of this. I mean, to have my story shared and everything, I was definitely honored. But to be
you're right up front in chapter 1.
Yeah, I know. It's like boom, opening with a bang.
That's right. That's right.
And not only did I get a really, in 2 stories, but I got a really cool picture. Actually, the poster I made for the show, I used that illustration.
Adam Tiller's illustrations are fantastic.
Oh.
And hey, Shawn, just to let you know, a second edition of that book is coming out here very soon.
This one?
Of A Walk in the Shadows. Yeah, second edition's coming out. Well, I know it's only like a year later and I'm putting out a second edition, but there's a lot more material that I'm adding and some things I wanted to go back and fix up. And well, there are some other references in there that just needed, because life changed over the past year, so I needed to make a couple of those changes as well.
It's the thing is about the paranormals, you never stop learning. It's always a learning process. So I would expect there to be multiple kind of parts or multiple books.
Yeah, there's other things that I've expanded on in this second edition, and plus when I started doing interviews for the Shadow Dimension docuseries, which will be out probably, I'm guessing it'll probably be late winter, early spring, right around there, because it's still going to take me a while to edit. A lot of those interviews were very pertinent to a lot of what's being talked about in A Walk in the Shadows. So it's like, I'm just going to take some snippets of those interviews and include them. So there's going to be some of those interview transcripts in there as well.
Well, that's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, definitely. And not only that, so you write your own books, and you also do you do your own editing?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll like for my own work, I'll have others take a look at it, and because when you are writing, you're kind of, you have that tunnel vision, and so even though, okay, fine, I'm a good writer, I've been writing since I was 7 years old. When you start to read over your own work in your mind, you already know what it's supposed to say, so you kind of gloss over it and you miss a lot of little things. So I'll have others read it before I publish, just to make sure all those little errors are ironed out. But as a publisher, when things are submitted to me, I do a lot of that editing. We just had a new book come out today, Shock and Awe by Coyote Chris Sutton. So be sure to check that one out too.
That's really funny that you just brought that book up, because look what
there it is.
Oh man, Coyote Chris. I've always seen him on your show, and he's just seems like a fantastic guy. I'm hoping to one day get him on. I had a really big learning experience actually a few big learning experiences when it comes to scheduling on a podcast. I mean, I've been doing this for 2 years, but it's still always a learning process. And I think I've scheduled too far out. And so now I'm scared to ask people to come on. And I don't know. So if I don't want to discourage anyone, please, if you have something you want to promote, let me know. I definitely want to get you on. I just can't get anyone until March right now. I mean, it's a great problem to have. I'm not upset, but at the same time, it's like, it makes it, when you're scheduling that far in advance so much, especially nowadays with going on in our world in general, it's hard to plan far in advance. So I think I'm not going to do so far in advance anymore. No more.
I mean, I usually go a couple months in advance.
Do you?
And yeah, it's helpful, because it's actually, at least for me, I'm not as stressed out in lining up guests, because I'm already so far booked out. And if somebody has to bail out, well, usually it's something that's a few weeks down the road. So it's okay. I might be able to move one of those others into that slot, or somebody else that I was looking to bring on the show. I don't have to sit there and say, well, it's going to be a few months. This person dropped out. Can you go ahead and cover? So to me, it's more of a relief to have it more booked out. Plus, I don't know if you publish your list of who's coming up on the show, but people like to know, who's going to be on over the next, month or two of the show, and they get to see the upcoming guests.
Now, if you do that, I guess that would kind of make sense. I don't know. Like, I mean, I made a couple big mistakes. I know I messed up with your original show when you were supposed to come on it. And I don't know. There's a couple people that were nervous to schedule far in advance because they didn't know what they were going to be doing. And now I'm in a situation where Dead Republic has come out with a video, and I'm not able to ask them to come on when their video's coming up because I'm already all booked up. Those are really good friends of mine.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel bad about that. But guys, make sure to check that out, by the way. The premiere is on RU Media Network this Friday. Make sure you don't want to miss that. It's going to be awesome. So there's that. But yeah, it's a learning process. I mean, you've been doing the podcast thing for how long now?
Good 5 years now.
Yeah, so you've worked out
the video's about twice as long.
Yeah, that I know you've been doing for a really long time, and I know, but this I don't know, doing the video cast and the podcast thing. I know you do music too, right? Or at least you did.
I did. It was just, with my schedule, it was a lot of extra work, and I had to make a decision as far as, what's working for me right now. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I loved the music that I was playing. It was great to make, some connections with, some people that I grew up listening to. It's like now I'm talking to over email, which is like cool, and we got Ricky Rocket on our show from Poison. the one time, not even to talk about music, but that's where we made the connection was through all of that. And, we brought him on the show because he does legend tripping. So that was really cool to make that connection and bring him on. But yeah, it was just one of those, I have too many other things going on, and the music stuff was fun, but it was too much time out of my week with all the other things I have going on.
Tom McNicholas.
There's Tom McNicholas. Hey, Tom. Good to see you, buddy.
I'll tell you what. The bands and the music that you played, Brian, will probably only know maybe one of the bands.
My favorite song right now is a hit single that Shawn sang for this paranormal collaboration.
Oh, jeez.
It speaks volumes that they
Shawn
gave
can
him
sing, all
the most
right.
important part.
No.
So I think we might need to revive this music just to have Shawn on. And
That's hilarious.
the fellows on this, man, they picked the classic Christmas song and they gave him the most challenging part, and Shawn knocked it out of the park. So yeah, that is, yeah, but I don't know much.
It was fun. It was fun. It was really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
It was.
I don't know if you've ever seen the video where I've had a couple of glasses of wine and I'm singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
I did see that actually.
Yeah,
I did see that. Yep. That's the thing. Once it's out there, and
It's out there, yeah.
it's out there, even if you delete it. But yeah, this is Jeremy. Actually, he was on us earlier. Jeremy, are you still here? He pulled a lot of people together from the paranormal community to sing. Like we each, Valerie Wright, she was on here earlier. She did a part of it. Dan actually did had a line in there. Quite a few people from the paranormal community.
Cool.
But yeah, Jeremy York did it. It was a lot of fun, but I cannot sing, and he was smart. He played the music so loud that you could barely hear me. I tried so hard. I tried so. I did these like vocal I went to YouTube, of course, and I looked up to how to get your how to sing.
Warm-ups and
Yeah.
scales. Yeah.
Oh,
It was
so
good.
bad. Oh, it
was
like,
good.
I ended up sending this one, and I did like 20 takes of this song, and they're all bad. It's just like I don't know which one. I was like, I'm just gonna blindly pick one.
But did you have fun? That's what matters. Did you have fun?
Oh, 100% it was fun.
There
It was
you go.
awesome to be a
There
part
you
of
go.
it. The message and the display of Paraunity for that, it was incredible.
Great.
Yeah, and oh no, it's actually. I'll tell you what. I'm not going to play it again because it's too long. But I'll find the link on YouTube so you guys can go and check it out if you want to, because it's not good.
Yeah.
But at least I'm not good. There's other people in there that do sing well. The Goose actually from Cryptic Paranormal, he did a part on there. But so yeah, a lot of people from the community came on there. That's what's so cool about it, and it's just about that, getting the community together, especially when we're all like. I think there was maybe one or two Paracons that actually got to do anything this year. Usually we all get to like see each other or bump into each other.
A long time,
right? Hopefully, I'm really hoping that this Parapsychon is actually doesn't get canceled at OSR.
It's in May, so
Yeah.
hopefully that's enough time that things will calm down and we'll be able to do that. So
Right, I'll be going there, but as a patron, I'm just going to go and walk around and say hi. I'm not getting a table.
Cool. So you
But
had
I'm
a
gonna-
table last time.
I did get a table last time, but I think this time I just want to not have a table and just kind of go and
Just
hang
enjoy
out.
the event. Yeah.
Have fun. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about bringing my kids and then I could like show my son, what a jail cell looks like, and
There you go. Yeah, you don't want to end up here, right?
right, exactly. Especially one of those really dark, down in the. Have you ever gone? I don't even think that they would let us go back in that area during the con, but there's an area down by the they're like the old showers or something, but I can't think of the area, but it's like you keep on going down, and instead of going around to the underneath the seclusion area, there's like this like underground, it looks like it's just like dirt ground, but then you get to this doorway if you walk around, and it's like it looks like old showers or something. I have no clue, but I'll tell you what, there's some sort of crazy energy. It was like it was a quiet night when we were there. It just seemed like all the energy was just like down in this little area that I found.
Interesting. Yeah, that place has got so much going on, and there's so many nooks and crannies around there. And I remember the time that I was there with you, and there was just a handful of us. I think that, if I recall correctly, that was the night that I had for a long time the entire East cell block to myself, which was kind of crazy. And it was like 15 degrees that night or whatever.
It was freezing.
Insane. Yeah.
Brian was there too.
It was.
Oh yeah.
That was oh man, that was a really cool night. And man, actually, so John Ward. Oh, I wish I could find this again. John Ward is into like postcards. So I was just kind of like Googling, looking up postcards, and I found a really old postcard that showed the chapel, like all nice and beautiful. I was, oh man, I'm gonna have to find this, and I'm gonna have to.
That's pretty cool.
To the Fricatics, I know they would love that. But John Ward would love it. I know he's thinking, "What about me, dude?" Dude, it was just so cool to see that. When you get to see these places and you see what they look like, and they're in their prime, it's really neat.
Oh yeah. You compare the way it used to be with what you're actually walking through, and it's just amazing how things have changed over the years. And I love walking through, that kind of history. And, even if there's not a haunting going on at that moment, or if you're not, you don't have a spirit in front of you at that very second, you still at least feel the energy from the history that was there. You can feel those places. It's like the building itself has a soul, and you're feeling that soul.
Definitely. And speaking of someone else that was there, Jill Perry.
Yeah, there's Jill. Hey, great to see Jill. How you doing?
And Tom McNicholas, he says he had a great time in Ohio a few months ago. I actually got to go with them. I know you met up with them at Helltown.
I did. Yeah, we did Helltown together, which we were talking about earlier. Yeah, it was when things were starting to kind of cool down with COVID and all that, and the numbers were dropping, and so we were feeling it a little more. We were all anxious to get out, and so so we did. Yeah,
and it's really neat. And actually, I met up with them the next day. And we went and just did some little sightseeing, and we went to a little like metaphysical store. That's actually where I got my favorite tarot deck of cards, which I used last week right here.
Ooh, yes,
oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm a big Sold Arnelli fan, so I saw it. I paid too much for it, but I saw it. And I was like, you know what? I've been wanting it, and it was there, and I had the cash. I was like, I'm just going to do it. I know I should, I could have gone to Amazon for probably at least $20 cheaper, but I got it.
You were supporting a local business, so there you go. Good job.
Yes, I was. And I was happy to do that. And I'm happy to have this deck because it's awesome.
Good.
And I think, and just to go back real quick about the music, if it's on a rock band, like if you're talking about some old rock music, then I'll probably know it. But when you support local business, it's like you're creating magic.
Yeah.
And there's also a very important piece of magic, and that's the abyss, ladies and gentlemen. the part of the podcast where we give our guests the 13 fast fire questions. Where you answer them as thoroughly and as quickly as possible.
13. All right.
13. Lucky number 13.
My answers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There you go.
Done.
Oh,
fastest
wow.
ever.
That's
a record.
This is the fastest ever. All right. Ken likes the magic reference. All right, everyone. Are you ready, Mike?
All right, let's do it.
All right, I'll go ahead and let you know if it's number 1 and number 13, just to give you some context. You ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Number 1, describe the paranormal in 3 words.
Oh my God.
Wow. That is not an easy question. He's laying it on thick for you, Mike.
It is, but that's my answer. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Ooh, that's
Good
so
answer.
What inspires you to start writing a new paranormal book?
I could say, oh my God, to that one too. Yeah, because that's not quick. I mean, it's, oh my gosh. I mean, it's, I'm drawing inspiration from, my experiences and what I think people are interested in, but it's something that, hits me to the core that, I'm experiencing this, I'm learning this, I want to share it, and I do that through my writing.
Very good. With 30 years of experience, what's your 2 greatest paranormal tips that you like to give people?
Well, we talked about the one earlier, which was learn from seasoned investigators, find a group and learn from them. Also, for beginning investigator, it kind of piggybacks on that, but certainly don't go alone. Be very safe about it. Flashlight. Use the buddy system. All that sort of stuff. Because you hear about these different accidents of people, going into abandoned places on their own, and they fall, get hurt, break a leg. Really endanger themselves. So don't go alone.
Very good. Now I know you've written 11 amazing books, but that's almost just like scratching the surface of how much research you've done. So, of all the research you've done over the years, what's the most interesting topic you've researched?
Shadow people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like the big topic, but really it has to do more with how we were talking earlier about how time works and really the inner workings of the universe. I've been talking a lot in recent years about the connected universe. So that's really where a lot of my research is going toward, is how the universe works, different dimensions, different levels of reality, and that sort of thing.
Gotcha. So say you're on an investigation. I don't know. It's like you, Sean's in a bear suit. Who knows? What are some red flags you might start stumbling upon when you're thinking there might be an inhuman spirit? What are some red flags that pop up for you?
Well, I mean, I can reference, the investigation that we did, all those years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, I've been doing this for so long that, and I only have the one, kind of quote unquote, demon cases, which is really interesting, because they're not as common as some people tend to think. So, with the red flags there, it was really how Talison's demeanor kept changing, over time, that she was, kind of declining in, she was going from that oppressive state into possession. It was really not the same girl that we had first met earlier on. So that was a big indicator for us.
Okay. And I know you spoke about your early paranormal experiences. So over the 30-year span here, have you found yourself becoming more sensitive to the paranormal? And were there any, stops along the way that's saying, oh, now I can start to feel this kind of energy?
Yeah, I certainly have gotten more sensitive as you go along. I mean, it's one of those, you keep putting yourself in the situation. And so, naturally, and I've left myself open to it. So naturally, you start to develop that more and more and more. So I never call myself a psychic, but I certainly a lot more sensitive than I give myself credit for, and that has grown over the years.
Gotcha. So we all know your haunted wall story, but what was the craziest experience you've ever had?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of different crazy ones. I mean, there was the crazy crawler incident at Black Bear Church. There was also the woods when I was not even on a paranormal investigation, and I was in the back of this abandoned house for something else. Basically, talking talking a woman off a ledge, really, and
Wow.
from the woods, there were all these little shadow entities that started, gathering around the woods. And then when we finally decided to get out of there, up in the treetops was this white entity kind of slinking through the treetops, which was crazy. And I'll just throw the third one out. My first ever significant paranormal experience was with a shadow person when I was about 8 years old. It physically interacted with me where it came up to my bed, grabbed me by the wrist, crossed my arms across my body, and then ran off down the hall. So yeah, I've had a few crazy things happen.
Wow, that definitely trumps the haunted wall there.
Yeah.
So for all the books, give us your top 2 books and why that you've written.
Well, first one, Deadly Airs. First one's always, that's kind of like your baby.
Yeah,
It took me so long to write, and when I was a kid, I wrote a lot of detective fiction. That first book is actually a detective novel, and so that was a lot of fun to write. And then the most recent, A Walk in the Shadows. Yeah, because that's a culmination of a lot of my experiences, a lot of my research over the years, and it keeps growing. And there, got the docuseries coming out and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's been a big one.
Yeah. So you've done so many investigations. What's your favorite piece of paranormal equipment?
Best form of equipment is your body. This is your most sensitive tool that you're going to take with you on an investigation. Trust your instincts. We have all this fancy equipment. If you want like the actual technology, I would say audio recorder and a camera, but your body is your most important tool that you bring.
Yeah. So, and then out of your 30 years, was there a standout year on your paranormal venture where, 15 years in, and you're just, you squeeze 100 investigations in, was there a standout year?
Oh my God. I haven't ever really thought of it like that. I mean, there was this one day, March 23rd, 2012 at 3 a.m. I don't know. I mean, really, the past couple of years, kind of the direction that things have taken off for me have been really, really significant. I would also, say those couple of years that I was in Oklahoma really started kind of steering me in a particular direction. I've changed that direction in some ways in the last couple of years, but I would say those two periods have really seen significant growth for me in this arena.
And what's the scariest paranormal situation you've been in?
Well, I kind of already mentioned those two. So the one where the shadow person's crossing my arms across my body like that, and then actually all three of those, because the crawler was pretty disconcerting. But we were on a paranormal investigation, so and there were legends of the crawler there. So in a way, we were kind of expecting it. We handled it all right, but it was still kind of crazy. And then all the shadow entities in the woods, especially since I wasn't there for anything paranormal, it's like, it's not a good time for us to be back here. So.
Yeah. So besides your books, do you have a favorite paranormal book from like a different author?
I grew up on Hans Holzer, and the first one that was given to me was by my mother when we were moving out of Massachusetts to Ohio. She gave me the book Yankee Ghosts as an unusual way or a little different way to remember the area of the country that I'd spent 10 years of my childhood. And so, I started reading that on the drive to Ohio. Didn't realize until I was a couple stories in that it was like, oh, this is actually, these are real stories. These are true. And so that was a really big influence for me when I was young. So that one's that one, I take that one to heart.
Yeah. And all right, so this is number 13. If you had Mike's 3 golden rules of paranormal investigating, what would they be?
Mike's 3 golden rules. Pee before you go.
Mhm.
Good one.
Preach it, Mike.
Yeah. Tag everything, on audio. There's so many times that, there's something that comes up on audio and you're like, oh, I think that might be. And then when you try to confirm it with somebody you're on an investigation with, they're like, oh, that's when I, did whatever. It's like, you got to tag that stuff.
Mhm.
And the other is, again, trust your intuition, trust your instincts, trust what you're feeling on that investigation.
Very good. Hey, that was the 13 fast fire questions. Yeah.
All right.
Tom McNicholas has a great question for you too.
Perfect.
It is, if you were retiring from investigating, where would you go to visit or revisiting for your last investigation? Oh, he says this is for all 3 of us.
Oh my gosh.
Oof.
If I was retiring from investigating.
And it's like the last hurrah. Ooh. I know where I would.
Huh. That's difficult because I don't ever really consider, because to me, I'm always learning within every moment, even if I'm not going to a particular location, I guess. Well, I mean, I guess list one of my, it's visit or revisit. Well, I'll say, Paris catacombs are a bucket list item for me. So
Yes,
I'll say
that's
Paris
right.
catacombs. Yeah.
I was going to say the same exact.
Were
thing.
you? Okay.
Oh yes, that and I can never say it right. The Bulgaria Island in Italy.
Oh, Poveglia. Yeah.
Yeah. Those 2 places are my 2 biggest bucket lists. You're already going to Ireland. That's huge for me.
Yeah,
too.
see, I'm knocking off Egypt and Ireland this time around, but
Ireland just in itself. I mean, it's to me, it's like when I think of like just like the Celtic background and everything.
Mhm.
That's like for my ancestry being Scotch Irish. That's like spiritual, like I don't know. I just think it would be like so spiritual to go there and to actually experience.
Yeah, and we're going to be going to some of the stone circles and dolmens and stuff like that too. So all that's going to be fantastic.
Wow, I wish I was in the cards.
Wish you were coming with us, brother.
Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe if we get like another stimulus, and I need a couple stimuluses. Because I need to get a babysitter too.
Yeah, a babysitter would help.
Yeah. But yeah, oh man. So, Katie, if you're watching and you really want to get me the best birthday present ever,
there you go.
This microphone
Ireland.
is awesome. But a totally unforgettable gift ever would be to go to
life-changing experience.
Right?
Mm.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, I would hope if I was retiring, I'd have 20, 30 more years under my belt. And then it would be a hard toss up of, do I go revisit my favorite location with like the whole gang and just like a last, hurrah, or do you go do a bucket list? But if I had to retire right now, I'd probably do the bucket list because I think it's more sentimental if you've been to Madison Seminary for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years going on there, and you visit it once every year or two. But since I haven't been doing that, or I don't have the sample size of the time, I think I go along with you guys with the catacombs.
Yeah, that would be
there we go.
Trip.
I mean, hopefully we
one
end
big
up with
retirement
that
party
movie.
for everybody.
Yeah.
What's that movie as above, so below?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
and that I want to go in the restricted section, not the tourist side. I want to go in the restricted section.
Me too.
Oh yeah, we only retire once, people. I mean, we're going. We're going.
Oh, have you seen the stuff? There's been some evidence of some creature down there.
Oh, there's all kinds of crazy stuff down there.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard there's radioactive waste, and like the CDC comes all the way to Paris to kind of clean it up and everything, and yeah, it's getting rough. We got to investigate for sure.
Yeah, then they have those Tomahawk helicopters come, and they launched a bunch of missiles.
You've heard about those too. Listen,
Nobody knows about it. It's top secret.
I thought it was just a conspiracy
Which is why both
theory.
of you know about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shawn and I having co-writing a book on it, so step aside, Mike. The real bestseller is coming in like a Tomahawk missile.
Oh man. I think though, after I've been doing the paranormal now for 10 years, a little over 10 years now, and I think that if I were doing it for maybe, and I know I will be probably doing this for another 10, 15 years, but if I were to do it and I was older, I think it would be cool to go back and revisit my first big investigation as like a last hurrah, because I would hope that by that time I would be at the point where I've crossed off a lot of those bucket list locations, and it's just to be neat to like have that mental thing of like see like, man, this is where I was back when I was 30 years old and I did my first big investigation. My first big investigation was OSR, and that was my first big location. So to go there, that would be kind of cool. And before that, I did like other small locations. I started out actually by going to the Cuyahoga Valley National Park and doing those locations, and did like Kent Stage and a couple other small places. Yeah. But OSR was my first big location. It was my first big name location. It was my first prison. It was my first time being in prison. So I don't know, but now prisons are one of my favorite places to investigate. I love it.
Yeah, the problem with OSR at like that retirement, it's not going to be like 100 when I retire.
Right.
And OSR has a lot of stairs. So it might be difficult at that age.
Well, maybe by then they'll have like either hovering wheelchairs or like, or maybe they'll have like, I can't think of what it's called right now. The like tank wheels, so you can go over anything. That would be cool. Have like a Humvee wheelchair so you can go up and downstairs.
Yeah, I would like to, back when I was in Oklahoma, I loved the Stone Lion Inn. It is still to this day my favorite haunted house. And, I was there, very briefly for a couple hours. Didn't get a chance to investigate. I was being interviewed by the Ghost Adventures crew. So I just really was like the library entrance hall area in the kitchen for that. So I really didn't get a chance to actually go through the house and investigate and all that when I was back there a few years ago. So so it's been like 10 years since I investigated there, and so I'd love to go back to that place. That's in Guthrie, Oklahoma. It's absolutely amazing.
That would be, yeah. Ken Allen says, my thing is, if you're going to go to those tunnels in the catacombs, go hard or go home. I would definitely bring my black mirror and my triangle for manifestation if I ever had the opportunity to go underground into those catacombs. Oh, 1,000%. You are going to call everything to you. And I mean, I don't know French. I don't know if you guys do. Do you guys know French?
I speak German. So
yeah, we would need an interpreter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me,
well, it would be good for us to get a guide to go down there so we don't get lost for the rest of our lives.
But we would need like one of those like urban explorers, that go to the areas that we're not allowed to go.
We don't want the rules.
We'll hire Papillon as long as he doesn't get sucked into the ground.
Oh, we need to make this happen.
Yes. Oh. Low Luxury says that they speak German. I speak a little bit of Spanglish. That's about as far as I go. And Ebonics, in the 90s, Ebonics was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty fluent in Ebonics. In the 90s, that was the thing.
Yeah, there's a buddy of mine in like 8th grade. He brought in this magazine, and he was into rap and everything at the time, and so it was like all the slang terms. So it was like ill, deaf, all that.
Yeah, it's so.
Yeah, that was like what, 88, maybe 87, 88.
Aging ourselves, and then there's Brian. Like, yeah, he's just smiling because he has no clue what we're talking.
I like it. Those are some. That's some cool slang. Yeah, I'm with you guys.
It's okay. It's okay. I have challenged you, Brian, to go and explore some of the 80s and 90s. One day you're going to go past your guitar video games, your rock.
Yeah, well, we're going to be doing these solo run challenges. Shawn and I are going to go investigate a location by ourselves, and instead of like a 2-hour show like we usually do on a Wednesday night, we're just going to do an hour show, talk about the history of the location, answer some questions, and then we're going to go investigate together, and then we're going to do some solo run challenges. And, Shawn's going to have to go do some EVP sessions blindfolded. And then Shawn's going to challenge me. I'm going to put these headphones on, and they're not going to be noise canceling. It's going to be all the greatest hits from the 70s and 80s, that like.
Yeah. I like where you're going with that.
Down with OPP and all that jazz.
That was early 90s.
You see, the devil's in the details, right?
Yeah,
love it. Yeah, we are actually February 10th, the week of my birthday. We are going to Madison Seminary, and we are going to do our first on location show, and we're going to be doing
nice.
So, if you were to give someone a paranormal challenge, what would that challenge be for seasoned investigators to find a new way of trying to seek out the supernatural? I know, like, from watching your podcast in the past, you've done a lot of really neat experiments along with, the dripping water and everything like that. You've given me a lot of great ideas. So I know that you can come up with something good. Yeah,
the water EVP is really interesting. So, I mean, I've never presented that to somebody as a challenge. We just, it was my friend Lee Ehrlich, who's a paranormal investigator down in Florida, but he's also a world-class diver. He does deep sea salvage and stuff like that. So he works a lot with water. He's experienced paranormal activity down in some of these wrecks and all that. So he came up with that method of getting water-based EVP off of dripping water. So we tested this out at the Mineral Springs Hotel using one of the fountains there, and you're getting, it's not just EVP. You're hearing the voices with your own ears. So these are actually disembodied voices that you're hearing, and they are answering, questions. It's all of it makes sense. How old are you? 33. Where are you from? St. Louis. And St. Louis is right over the river. So it all lines up and makes sense. These water-based EVP is what it's called. So if I was to present a challenge, that would be a great one, actually, to see if people can use that method to be able to pick up EVP on their own.
That's good.
That is a good one, actually. I didn't think, like, I remembered your show and watching you do it. And it's like, yeah, he did that. He'll come up with some great ideas. I don't know. Maybe that's just for me working too much. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. That is a fantastic idea. You know what? Okay. I'm writing it down.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, just a note. There is like a happy zone with that. So you have to kind of like be far enough away from that dripping water source, but not too far back. So you kind of have to find that happy zone in there.
What is the best way to kind of do that? Like, look, what if you're at a location, like you've been to Madison Seminary, like there's a bathroom there.
Does it have running water?
That bathroom does. And actually that bathroom is haunted. I was actually there one time and I had to run to the bathroom and there was something messing with me while I was making a mess.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can use the dripping water out of the sink. If you have a bathtub, you can do the same thing there too. And you kind of have to almost kind of get the right drip. So you have to kind of play with it a little bit to get that right, dripping sound going, to be able to get basically it's using, the energy of the water and then the vibration of the dripping to cast out those EVPs. So again, it's something you kind of have to experiment and play with, because your water source is really going to kind of determine how you're going to set all that up. So, I was talking about, before finding the happy zone, how far you're away from it. Well, we had a whole huge fountain that we were using that was down the hall. If you're using a sink, you're going to be a little bit closer, of course.
Uh-oh. Pardon me. So Akira X from YouTube says, who remembers the Bloody Mary bathroom game? You want to know something?
Yeah, I never played around with the Bloody Mary bathroom game.
When I was a kid, long before, I lived in a house, I think that there may have been, my friend and I, we would go to the library and we'd read about the paranormal. Our houses were right behind each other, and they were built by the same guy. So we would kind of do our little play investigation things. And so one year summer camp, my summer camp was in the elementary school I went to, and we would play Bloody Mary. Honestly, we were just scaring the crap out of each other. Now that I know what I know, you could legitimately unintentionally, or maybe it is intentionally unintentionally call something to you and end up with a problem. But yeah, that Bloody Mary game, you're legit, you're calling a spirit of a woman saying you took her baby. That's pretty dark.
Yeah, you're right. You're calling out. You're trying to establish a connection with somebody, even though what you're trying to connect with is fictional. There are other entities out there that hear the call and will answer. So yeah,
right, exactly. My kids were telling me about this game where they would take they'd take a pencil. I forgot the name of it, but supposedly it's like a demon named Dan.
Was it the Charlie game?
Charlie. I knew it was some stupid name like that.
Yeah, the thing about that one is it's a physics trick, though. That one's
but still, the intention there is for you.
There's intention, yeah.
That's the type of stuff that I'm don't do that, because the intention that's there. But it's not real. That you're right. It's physics. Guys, this is science. It's not.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with kids playing around with a Ouija board at a slumber party. They're all. They have this intention of trying to contact whatever, they're using a spirit communication device, but they're also goofing off at the same time and, asking questions like, which boy likes me and, all that stuff. Yeah. And, imagine being a spirit, and somebody opens up this line of communication. You're like, oh, somebody wants to talk, and you get in, there's all these, so I'm not trying to be sexist, but this is what usually happens. It's girls at a slumber party. And, it comes in as, okay, there's all these goofy girls and they're being ridiculous and all that. And so, that's why the radio they're listening to goes flying across the room.
Right.
Because they get frustrated.
Yeah.
Because they may even be trying to, they've established a line of communication, and the spirit may actually be trying to communicate, but they're being all goofy, so they get frustrated and do something.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. And another thing to kind of think of is Tom McNicholas said Candyman too.
The Candyman, there you
go. When you are in a dark room, you're looking in a mirror, right? There is kind of a pareidolia effect that you can get. You're looking into a face. Your eyes are trying to make sense of what they're seeing. And so you can end up seeing something that's not there. So you can see someone else's face that's not really there. All you're seeing is your own face, but your mind kind of playing tricks on you.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff like that, with darkened room with the mirror. And another one with the mirror, if you get a partially fogged mirror, after a shower or whatever, and you look into it and you see, these big giant orbs for your eyes with these smaller orbs in there, it's really creepy looking. So even, so there's a lot of interesting physics tricks that you can create with mirrors, and it just looks very disconcerting. What am I looking at? And a lot of times it's yourself.
Definitely. Akira says intention is hella powerful. Akira, intention is one thing that I talk about a lot, because I believe intention is it's key. It's important. It's how you.
It really is. It's how you manifest things.
Yeah. Definitely. So, but yeah, you can even take I think that like when you have like usually you were talking about teenage girls that are like, think about what they're going through with their bodies, right? Their bodies are going through hormone changes. They're going through a lot, and there's stresses that come with that. And I think that a lot of that kind of stuff, when you have built up stress, it can create unintentionally, so you can make something move and have like poltergeist-like activity when really it's your own energy that's doing that. I've seen my wife do it. She got really she was having a really bad week, and she just got really stressed out, and she ended up just screaming at the kids, and just as she screamed, this clock literally lifted up off the wall and slammed down on the ground.
Yeah, I've been on telekinesis cases like that where again, not to pick on teenage girls, but it does happen a lot with girls of that age. When you have a case like that, a lot of times it's a teenage girl. And they can be a boy too and all that. I'm not saying it can't, but it definitely does happen a lot with the girls. And I've been on those cases, and I like that you said poltergeist like activity, because there's a difference between a poltergeist, the actual ghost spirit, and this type of telekinesis activity that is like a poltergeist. So it seems to have gotten really muddled these days, that the PK activity is being described. Well, that's what a poltergeist is. No. It's acting like a poltergeist. There are still poltergeists out there. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. No, I appreciate that. I mean, it's years of learning.
Just to let you know, my battery's getting low here. So,
well, you know what? We are nearing the end of the show, so it's okay. Before you do get going, real quick, first of all, I do want to say, throughout my years in the paranormal, there has been a lot of different outlets where I've gone for research and information. And guys, seriously, Haunted Road Media is one of the major outlets I still turn to this day. And I did early in my years of investigating. Seriously, the plethora of information on so many different levels. Go check out Haunted Road Media. They're literally Amazon, YouTube, everywhere, guys. Look up Mike Ricksecker. And with that, Mike, do you have any new things, any new projects, anything new you want to plug, anything?
Yeah, so like I said, the second edition of A Walk in the Shadows is going to be coming out here very soon. I'm gearing up for a basically year after release, so January 21st, that new version of A Walk in the Shadows should be out. And there's Nicole Guillaume tossing up my website, MikeRicksecker.com. Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, and it is going across the ticker on the bottom too.
Yep. Okay, great. Yeah, I see it there. So that'll be out. Basically, it'll be the end of next week. There's the docu-series, The Shadow Dimension, that will be out here within the next couple of months. And then there are also courses that I'm putting together that they're going along with all this. So there's going to be like a member site, the courses, a community, all these things that I'm in the process of building for this, basically around that docu-series and beyond. I keep talking about the connected universe. There's a lot of different things that we're going to be exploring with that. So yeah, I have a lot of things in the works right now.
That's awesome.
But right now, go check out the book, because that's kind of the starting point.
For edition 2, right?
Yeah. Second edition is going to be out January 21st.
Awesome.
January 21st. So that is just days away, guys.
It is next week.
So, wow. Oh, that's awesome. So you have a lot of really cool stuff still going on. Do you still do the shows on Friday where you give like the
Friday Night Ghost Frights?
Yeah.
So I ended up moving those to Monday, and I have not published one since probably like the middle of November, because I started like working hardcore on all these different projects. I'm going to put out a new video on the Haunted Road Media YouTube channel at the beginning of next week, because it really touches on a lot of things that I've added into the second edition of the book. So the kind of intro additional material. So yeah, I had shifted from Friday to Monday, and it's been a little while since I've actually posted one. But all of that all that material is still out there on the Haunted Road Media channel. So definitely, like I have playlists out there that are like, here's a playlist on shadow people. Here's a playlist on interdimensional beings, paranormal investigations, the, urban exploration of like Helltown and all that. There's a Helltown playlist. So a lot of stuff.
That's awesome. Andy's on TikTok.
I am on TikTok. Yeah.
I have too much fun on that app. I'm on there as Paradad, and that's like my handle. Like if anyone sees me like playing online video games or whatever, I'm Paradad. So I kind of brought that over to TikTok. And I have too much fun with it. I don't do enough paranormal stuff on it though. I need to.
Basically with TikTok, what I did was I took those Friday Night Ghost Frights videos and I sliced them up and put them out there as like 1 minute clips. And so I would have like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Nice. And I'm just repurposing the material from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But it got me a big following out there, so it works.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's if you do it right, TikTok can be great, and then it just leads them to your other content, and then because it's like little teasers, So
yeah, exactly.
So it's really cool. Now I want to. How can people find your coffee? I mean, I'm every paranormal investigator. Like I've seen paranormal investigators.
Yeah, the coffee.
Talk about promoting.
Roads helps you out ghosts.
Yeah, I've seen paranormal investigators. They talk about and promote. They may even be I don't know, but they promote energy drinks. But you have your own coffee.
My own coffee. Yeah, this is my energy drink right here, coffee. Yeah. That's what I had in here. So you can find that at haunteroadmedia.com or MikeRicksecker.com. You just go into the merch section. I think one or both of them has the little banner on the side you can click into as well. But yeah, you can purchase it out there at either one of those websites.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And you can get Ghosty there too.
Yes. And then you take pictures of Ghosty at haunted locations that you go to.
Yeah,
and
Ghosty has his own Facebook page. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do that.
Yeah, you've supplied a lot of those photos out there, Shawn.
I have. I like Ghosty. I like the whole idea of it. You're sharing the experience. You're getting out there. You're promoting the location. You're promoting. Yeah. It's just a lot of fun. And then you guys, I know you guys used to do the Find Ghosty or Where's Ghosty.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've done it. Of course, the last year I haven't really gone anywhere. So,
right.
It makes it a little tough.
Right.
Like that, Nicole, MikeRicksecker.com, get coffee and a Ghosty. That's right.
Yes, get coffee and Ghosty. I'm looking for the...
if you want to be really sneaky, I haven't disabled it yet, but at the top banner of my website, there's still the holiday deals listed up there. So if you're real sneaky, you could slip into there and grab one of those deals because I haven't taken it down yet.
Yeah. Ooh, 15% off of the coffee, guys.
There you go.
Yeah, you can get a gift pack of 2 coffees and a Ghosty. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm working on it. Slowly. My computer. I don't know what happened to my computer today. It's not my friend. I need a new computer, I think. This is God saying, Shawn, you were supposed to buy a computer and you bought a refrigerator instead. You need to get that computer.
Well, you want to keep your food cold too, so
that's true. Without it leaking, they don't want water. Yeah. So, but here we go. It's happening slowly. Wow, I feel like I'm using my work computer. There we go. Aha.
There it is. All right.
And with that, I will do this. I do believe. Oh no, that's an image of what is that? See, I saved the link for the coffee, and it gives me this weird image link. That is weird, guys.
Huh.
I don't know, guys, but here, I'm going to retry this again. See?
Is that the book and coffee and Ghosty?
I don't know. My computer hates me. Wow.
But yeah, the best thing to do is to go to the website, right?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
go to the
bringing up the
website.
link.
Yeah, Nicole has the link right there. You guys have it scroll in on the bar, MikeRicksecker.com, and
Very good.
you can get it there. Yeah.
We just threw a whole bunch of links at you guys.
Yeah. Well, we super appreciate your time, Mike. I know.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Your camera's gonna die, but yeah, it's 2 hours is a great deal for someone as busy as you. And I know you've got a ton of projects going on, but you know we appreciate the positive impact that you're making on the paranormal community. All the hours of research, it's just the stuff that people don't see. All the time that you take to brainstorm your ideas for your videos, for your books, all the research. Hopefully, by now you know that you made a huge impact on us and on the community. So we just want to say thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. A big part of all this is, sharing information, what I've learned with others. And, I just love that people are, want that information, that I have somebody to share it with. And so, and we've been on investigations and things together. So we're actually sharing some of these experiences together too. So, all that's wonderful. So it's definitely I want to say brotherhood, but there are women involved as well. So brotherhood, sisterhood, it's just, big, family. So it's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. Nicole should get a commission there.
Commission. Yes. And Nicole says she should get a commission.
Yeah.
I think that that's like the whole premise of why we are now our paranormal podcast. It's for that exact premise. It's if the community can get together, get past all the nonsense, get past the bullshit. We can work. This is how the knowledge of the supernatural, the paranormal, is going to get out there. This is not an exact science. We need to work together, and we need to share. We need to share our experiences and share our different knowledges. Our experiences bring the knowledge, and that's what it's all about. And also in the community, there's a lot of people like Mike who are out there, and they have a lot of great content. They have a lot of great merchandise. They have a lot of great books, and that stuff needs to get out there. And my goal, one of my goals when I first got into paranormal, is to kind of show that the paranormal is actually normal. It's not paranormal.
You're right. There's a great quote from Hans Holzer that I included in that book. And what he said was, there is no supernatural world. Everything in the world is natural.
I like that a lot.
It's very true.
See, that's exactly it.
Yeah, all these things around us that we call supernatural, paranormal, whatever. This is the way the universe is. These things are going to happen. They're supposed to happen. It's nature.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. But we're all taught through religion and through the movies, through all different types of media, that it's not normal and that it's scary and that it's horrible and it's all these things that it's not.
It's not.
There's so much more to it, and there's so much more than we could ever understand. And I think that by us being kind of blocked from all that honest information, with all that fear, it's really limited us. I think that we could be capable of so much more if we understood the spiritual side of things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, if there's one last message you wanted to give us, Mike, before we call it a night, because your camera's going to die on us probably mid-sentence.
Yeah, it's yelling at me.
What's the last statement that you want to get to the community?
Just keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. There are, so many people out there doing a wonderful job with, with all the research and the investigations and presenting that. There's a lot of information out there, and just kind of like what we were talking about. Keep an open mind about it, because there's a much deeper world out there, in the universe that we're all connected to, that we're all a part of. So let's keep going down that rabbit hole and expand our minds in the connected universe.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
There's nothing else to that. That's the best way to end it. So we appreciate you, Mike, all your time, and we appreciate everyone watching and interacting. You had great questions. And Mike, as the camera dies, scroll through the comments. I mean, there's so many, and there's so much love for you and all the work you put into this field. So please, as the cameras, close here, just scroll through the comments and just, take it all in, because we all appreciate you.
100%.
So
Thanks, guys. I absolutely appreciate you having me back on the show. It's been fun.
Oh, definitely.
We'll see
man.
each other soon.
Every time you come
April.
on, man, it's awesome. It's always awesome, and I can't wait to have you on again. And I'm really pumped for the Hinsdale House come the spring.
Yeah, April, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a great time.
Awesome.
April. Yep.
All right. Well, then I guess with that, we'll go ahead and close things out. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope we helped you all over this hump day with all the crazy things that are going on. I hope that we were able to get you guys away from some of that, and I hope that we were able to spread some knowledge and help lead you guys to even more great content to enjoy in the paranormal with Mike Ricksecker and Haunted Road Media. So everyone, thank you once again. Hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everyone. Good night, and thanks, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. If you need to go, you can. I'm a doofus. I forgot. Next week, Brian, do you know who we have on next week?
Isn't it Joe?
Is it Joe? Next week is Joe Paranormal, and guess what we're talking about?
That's what I thought. I thought it was Joe from Paranormal.
Guess what we're talking about? We're talking about your doll.
I'm pumped.
Did you get your doll yet? There goes Mike.
I did not. Yeah, Mike was frozen a little bit.
No,
yeah, his
Mike
camera definitely died.
We knew he was going.
Yeah,
but I had to throw that out there because next week's gonna be an awesome show.
Yeah, next week, definitely something that you don't want to miss. Honestly, they're all great. I know last week we were talking about all the different fantastic guests. Joe from Para Oddities. It was probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago. We were just randomly talking about this doll that I used to have, maybe like 2-3 years ago. Lost it because it got too haunted. It was in a group that I graduated from. So, they ended up giving it away to the tour guides that gave it to a haunted museum there. And sure enough, Joe from Para Oddities, just something told him to tune in to like a more interactive show. Pops on 40 seconds in, and we're already halfway through the show. I start talking about the doll. He's like, "Yo, I have that doll. Its name's Barb."
I have Barb. He legit commented that, and then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "What? You have Barb? Whatever."
And
then it was Barb. It was the Barb. So, guys, we don't want to talk too much more about it. It is the end of the show.
Yeah. So
guys,
next week, you don't want to miss next week. It's insane.
We're gonna meet Barb, right?
I hope so. I think we mailed it last Friday. But it's all on his timetable. Yeah, right.
USPS.
That thing got lost. Listen, you all know that UPS truck just started burning up.
Still waiting on some stuff in the mail. So
fingers crossed. We have a week. We're gonna get Barb here. It's gonna be one of the craziest shows ever. But they're all great. But we're really looking forward to the next one. So
yeah. And hey, thank you again, Mike Ricksecker, Haunted Road Media. Guys, go get that coffee while it's still on sale. That is going to, I know he's probably rushing to his website right now to take that down because we just announced it on our show. So guys, go grab that coffee and check out.
Yes.
I'm telling you guys, it is, I don't know. Maybe I'm partial. No, I'm not partial. It's good stuff. Go check it out. We will see you all next week, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And with that, have a great rest of your week. And everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all next week with Barb and Joe from Para Oddities.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you again.
This paranormal adventure that we're all on, it connects us. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast with your host, Sean Gilmore.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 10 years.
He's a part of 2 paranormal teams.
His passion is creating para-unity.
With your host, Brian Mersel.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 7 years.
He leads his own paranormal team.
He wants to help people start their paranormal adventure or grow their existing one. This is our paranormal adventure. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast.
It's about supporting. It's about making Paraunity a real thing, because we all need to support each other within our community. And that's what the show has always been about.